men with men, we shape boys into men. No, we influence, but women shape. They form them. And his first shape was his mother, Louise Langdon Norton. And his second woman that impacted him was Ella, his half-sister. And then came Sister Clara Muhammad. And then came Betty Shabazz. And then came his 6 children. You see, Louise Little taught him how to be a son and shaped him as a young man. Ella taught him how to be a brother. Clara Muhammad taught him how to be a student. And Betty Shabazz taught him how to be a husband. And his daughters taught him how to be a father. And that was the shaping of and the forming of Malcolm. And we don't, in the tradition when we study Malcolm, we normally study him from a perspective of who Malcolm was, but we don't understand the depth of, because my bottom line, my question to my class is, where is the Malcolm in you? Search for Malcolm in you. Where is that indomitable spirit that you have? And my question is, like, for instance, what will it take for you all to come back and form this group you need? Are we just talking this? Is this just a talk, a conversation, that after today we're not going to do this? I mean, those that are doing it, that's one thing, but those who have come that may not have been here before, what do we do from here? What will it take before we actually do what we have to do? What do they have to do to us?
Wow.
How low can it go? Because I'll tell you right now, below their below is below. They have no bottom. The question is, how far bottom do we want to go before we start to rise? That's my question. And it takes work, it takes commitment. But, character is built during times of conflict and controversy, not during times of comfort and convenience. So that, instead of cursing the wind that brings us our bad fortune, I bless the wind for giving me another opportunity to perfect my character. And so I don't complain about the rough times. In fact, I look for them so that I can get another opportunity to do my thing. And we are now at a point in our evolution where, we got to stop talking and start doing. We talk too much. And we have to do it. I think that what we're doing here, this is real stuff that we're doing here. This is not talk. This is not yesterday's lecture. This is work. And I think that from what we just dropped today, we can start a process of looking at, the development of the way the mind functions and bringing it to the next level and using it in our young people and to the brothers. Let me tell you something. Your position, let me tell you something. You could stand in front of 5-year-olds, not say a word. You'd have such an impact on them. And brothers, we have to balance this off. We have to balance our sisters. They've been carrying this load a little bit too long.
Too long.
Too long and we really have not stepped to that point. As men, we need commitment. Brothers, we need to step up and do something. Committed, because something, they back up off us. If that song that sister sang yesterday about African King,
powerful.
When Eurasians hear black women talk to black men that way, wow.
Uplifted, balanced, support.
And when black men respond, not just by the words, but by what the words inspire us as men to do. When we step up there as black men and they can see us, the greatest fear that Eurasian society has is that the black man and woman will take their rightful place together. Not in front, not behind, not up on a pedestal. Side by side.
Side by side.
It makes all the difference in the world. And like I said last night, had we taken half that money we spent to get on that march and go onto a black bookstore and spent that money there, they would have been frightened. And next time something happened, we tell Walmart, something? I don't think we're going to come in here for another year.
They'll lose their mind.
You better go talk to them policemen and how they act. Because this Walmart's in our community and the police are in this community. We're not coming back for a year. We're not going to spend a dime with you. And let me tell you something else. If you don't get it together, we are in the preparation of starting our own black market.
Black market.
And so, if you waste your time, we'll never come back to you. Because that was my greatest disappointment in the Montgomery bus boycott. It was a great success, but it was a great failure. Because in those 381 days that we did not get on that bus, we should have been building our own bus company. So that we never went back on that bus in the first place. Because all they did, see, I don't boycott stuff because boycotting only tells you made a mistake by supporting them in the first place. I don't buy. You know, so I don't have to boycott you if I don't purchase from you. Because ain't nothing to boycott, because I never supported you in the first place. And so we have got to get to a point where we tell folks, we ain't spending our money with you. And you ain't going to see us in here for a year. And we're not going to stand outside your store and with placards and all the rest. We're not going to do that. We've already decided we're not coming in here. So we don't need placards to tell you we ain't coming in here, because just the fact we ain't coming in here is going to let you know we ain't coming in here.
I think the hard part of that is getting enough black folks to get on.
That is it. And that's what I ask us when I say, what is it that has to happen before we get the message? What is it that they have to do to us, honestly, before we honestly get the message as to what it is that their intentions are? And what does it take for us? Say again?
They did everything already.
Yeah, and continuing to do so. And there comes a point in time where, like Fannie Lou Hamer said, you get tired of being tired. And you just implement a plan that you decide, it's over now. It's over. No more. No more.
That's right, enough is enough.
Yeah, it's over, and you don't belate it. You know, you don't keep saying it, you don't keep saying, you just implement it. You do it. You know, you say, look, I told you before, we're not going to keep the conversation going. You know, because we're going to be building our own thing to the point where I don't have time to talk to you. I'm too busy talking to my own, trying to get stuff together.
Yeah.
That's where we have to get in this conversation. And again, if you build, it'll get successful. Remember, the Montgomery bus boycott was not successful in the beginning. People built into it when they saw the success of what was going down. And so our people need to be convinced.
Who are business leaders today that you would say are role models? Business leaders.
I would say if you look at, I think we have to look at the conceptual framework of Claude Anderson and George Frazier. The brother's name escapes me now, but the brother that bought Tropicana orange juice. I think that if we should get Black Enterprise magazine, it can start a process of weeding out who are the game players from the people who are serious. If we get one issue of Black Enterprise, it should tell you what you need to know. And there's also Black Business Network online that I'm part of. It's called Black Business Network, where you got folk like Chike Akua and others that are involved in black businesses.
There's another website called Too Loco,
Yeah.
and they're trying to do a nationwide push to support black-owned businesses. So let's say you travel to Los Angeles or Cincinnati, and you want to know where can I get, you know, the best vegetarian meal from a black-owned restaurant. You can look on Too Loco and find out.
Okay. What's it called?
Too Loco.
Too Loco.
Yeah, T-U-L-O-K-O.
T-U.
T-U-L-O-K-O.
Too
I
local.
believe so. Let me double check that, but it's Too Loco.
It's so funny. I
You're
just
crazy.
said the other day.
I was thinking local,
I think I find black businesses.
Yeah, Too
There you
Loco.
go.
I mean, they're just getting off the ground, so
Are they black-owned?
they just launched. They're just launching like this year, basically. But it's like if you want to go to a different city and you want to support black-owned businesses, they have some for Boston too. So.
And you know the concept is when you study Claude Anderson's Powernomics and things like that, you get an understanding of what it is that he's talking about. And so I always recommend to do the research, study, and understand what George Frazier is talking about, and understand what Claude Brown is talking about while you're implementing purchasing from black-owned businesses, whatever they may be. I know that there's a black-owned toilet paper, a paper product company.
Yeah, seen that free from
They
me
got
too.
like unks imprinted in the cloth.
Yeah, there's a lot. No, I thought no. They have it on the cover. On the cover they have.
Oh, I like that.
You know.
I'll take that.
But I'm trying to think of what the company is called.
Okay, what you saying?
I have some things I'd like to offer the parents so that you can be able to do this. Some of the things that I'm talking about are like things that help you with stress and getting the dirty electricity out of your house, the light bulbs, all of that stuff, things that you can put in your environment to help your children stop having nightmares, things that you can do as far as your just supplementations, things that you can take, getting the fluoride out of your house, getting the fluoride filter, getting a simple fluoride filter and a simple shower filter. The fluoride company that I did the research on, I contacted them through my raw food group and said, listen, can you come up with something, because you guys have layaway. And within weeks to a couple of months, you can actually physically feel the difference, and you're not docile and passive and all of these things. So and it is a quick change. It is something that you can just implement and then just see the results. I didn't drive, and I've had my license since I was like 18. I didn't start driving. First time I ever drove on the highway was when I was 40. And I did that because I didn't even realize that I had done it. I mean, I drove like this all the time in terror. And because of being on fluoride and didn't even know what it was. And the first time I drove, and I was driving on the highway, been sitting in traffic for about 45 minutes. And then I started crying after I got out of the traffic, because I was like, oh my God, there was 18-wheelers around me and all this stuff was around me, and I didn't even know it. I was crying for is because I didn't have the fear anymore. It was just gone. My relationships have improved with my partner of 10 years because I used to be angry and abusive and all these things all the time, and trying to and thought I was rightfully justified in that. But when I released the fluoride, I looked over at him and I was just like, thank you so much for driving all these years. I didn't even know what it was about. Thank you for understanding me, and thank you for being with me and sticking with me through those moments of pain. Parasites, I can tell you how to address them and get rid of them so that you are not dealing with those issues and suffering through those issues in a way that are very, very simple. The other day I had and this is a little bit TMI, but I think it's appropriate for now, is that I've been doing a parasite cleanse, and I had a parasite in my chest this big right here, and I felt it die off because I was wearing a parasite zapper and doing what I needed to do. I had to have a conversation with my partner of 10 years, and the first thing we did when we got together was a parasite cleanse, so I thought we were fine. And I had to stop him and say, it's so much deeper than I ever thought. Every ounce of weight that I have on me is a home for the parasites. So this is what we need to do. I'm learning to get rid of energetic parasites as well, and I've been working on that. So these are simple things. It's all right. It's all right.
Yes.
So these are simple things. If you want them,
The brother is gonna have to
I apologize.
If you don't mind, if I can just ask one question.
Sorry.
No, my sister, I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm losing track of time listening to what you're saying. Because Parasite, there's a book called Parasite Rex by Carl Zimmer that
Parasite Rex?
called Parasite Rex by Carl Zimmer with a C. So what I'm listening to what you're saying is very important. They're all around us.
So this is kind of a closing question of sorts, just real quickly. Is there a curriculum or something that we could buy that is already set up and structured yet, or are we doing? This is what we're doing. We're putting it together.
You know, there are curriculums, but it's like someone who writes a book on food and someone who writes a book on recipes, on how to cook the food. Those are two different books. Curriculum development is, I've gone through, because that's what I really focus on, is curriculum development. Curriculum development is very different. And I believe that for curriculum development, you need staff development, what we did here.
Yes.
Because when you experience it, you know what to experience in the classroom. To just read a book, it's like if you bought a book of recipes, like what Brother's cooking, if you bought his book and you read about how Brother cooked that black rice, right? But then have experience where you're in the kitchen with Brother while he's cooking the black rice. It's a different experience altogether.
Yes, it is.
Because you're watching his hands, you're watching how he does it, you watch how he stirs it. There are things that are in staff development that I think is very much attached to curriculum development. There are curriculums, but it's like buying a book of recipes. You have to figure out, you have to read into it what the author meant.
Yep.
Right.
And I don't believe in selling curriculums. I believe curriculums are part of the overall fee. Materials are always included in the fee, so that you get all the materials you need, and then we walk through the process.
Cool.
so that you can actually walk through it, so that if you go through it, then you know what to expect from the students that you're teaching, as opposed to just getting a piece. Now, I know a lot of curriculums out there, but I have a very serious problem because I think they're money-making ventures. I think it's staff development that you need, and the curriculum should go with that.
Now, just what is needed to get and to do in order to implement it effectively?
You have the means right here.
We're gonna continue the conversation after
It's
you go,
right
so
here,
we can
brother.
build on that.
What you need is right here. There's nothing that you need, including sister could just start something as it relates to parasite, and then you could study science on parasites.
Based on that, yeah.
You know, you could study animals that carry parasites, bats, and you know, you see. So there's so much that comes from what we did today. All those subject areas. What's the history of parasites? What's the geography? Where are they located? You know, there's so much in that science that then you deal with chemistry. What kills them? Everything sisters say you do is how you kill it. So that there's so much in this room right now that you have, along with cooking and all the things that you have. You have it. It's that we need organization and get a sense of how to structure it into an experience.
I have
Okay.
one quick last question around organization. Scheduling is one thing that I wanted really quick if you could touch on. Is sometimes we get into a habit because we're homeschoolers, sleeping late, doing work late. What
All important work should always be done the moment you wake up.
and what time should that be?
Well, that's according to what your time is. That's according to what your time is. But what you're dealing with is a structure because you are at your optimum. Anything after lunch is over.
Yeah.
You should juice in the morning, fruits in the morning. But once you hit lunch, it's a different experience. That's where you teach your arts and crafts. That's where you have your gym class. That's where you. But when you're dealing with math and science and those focus, it's in your waking moment in the morning. If morning is when you wake up. See, I'm a night person.
Right. So I guess that's what I wanted to touch to that. Is it developing bad habits? And sometimes my kids sleep till 11:30 in the
We might have
morning.
to,
It's
we might have to build on it.
it's a challenge.
We gotta go.
Well, thank you all. Thank you so very much for coming.
Oh, no doubt. Well, my thing is, if I can answer sister question, because I'm on the way. It's a challenge because the world she's going to grow up in, or we grew up in, is not a night-oriented society. So you got to get ready for what's out there.
Part of the day is in the morning.
You know, I spent